Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with Steph Zamorano and Ron Placone.
Hi, Jim.
Hello.
All right. We warned you, or we predicted, and we said that, by the way, it's easy to predict, that once censorship starts and everybody's cool with it, it's not stopping. So when they went after Alex Jones because he's so hated and so vile, which he is, but let's remember what Chomsky says. If you don't stand up for speech that disgusts you, you're not for freedom of speech. That's what this is about. When I was a kid, the ACLU used to defend the Nazis when they would march in Skokie in Chicago, which was a lot of Jewish people in Skokie, so the Nazis liked to march there to piss them off, and the ACLU would defend their right, and we all understood that they weren't defending Nazis, they were defending freedom of speech, because if you can take it away from someone you hate, you can take it away from someone you like. So when this happened with Alex Jones, of course, a bunch of knuckleheads made the stupid, lazy argument, which is also wrong, that you're defending Alex Jones. No one is. We're standing up for a principle. And the principle is called free speech, which is different than freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is ensconced in the First Amendment. Free speech comes out of the Enlightenment, which is an ideal that you're against censorship, no matter if it comes from the government, a religion, or a corporation. And we told you that Facebook is a monopoly, just like YouTube is a monopoly, Google. These are monopolies, and what we should do is break them up. We're not going to do that. So then what we should do is then treat them like a public utility, just like the internet. So you can't just take someone's public utility away from you. Can't, if you're AT&T, you can't just turn off the phone on someone because you don't like what they're saying. So the view of this show and lots of other people, or some other, not lots, some other people, is that the Facebook and YouTube and Google are monopolies. And the fact that it's the law that Facebook is a private company and they can deplatform anybody when they feel like it doesn't make it right. Used to be the law that Rosa Parks had to sit on the back of the bus. That didn't make it right. It made it horrible. So now we have Facebook and Google controlling the information flow in America. And whoever controls the information flow controls the goddamn country. And so it's really dangerous to let a few people control that much information flow. And so we have to put some protections in. And so when I say the government should regulate Facebook and YouTube, I don't mean they should run it. I mean they should put protections in that protect us and guarantee our free speech. Remember, the answer to bad speech isn't censorship. It's more speech. So we said there's going to be unintended consequences for all the knuckleheads on the left who are cheering on the deplatforming of Alex Jones. And, well, lo and behold, here it is. Telesur, Facebook has deleted our Facebook page for a second time this year without any explanation. Two weeks ago, we learned about a new campaign against inauthentic content conducted by Facebook in consultation with Congress and the secretive think tank, the Atlantic Council. So this is an article written this week by Matt Taibbi in Rolling Stone. And this is some stunning info.
Hey, Jimmy, but before you go on, let's go back to that first paragraph real quick here where they say, conducted by Facebook in consultation with Congress. All the people that are saying when we talk about, free speech principles and how Facebook should be a utility, all the people saying, oh, you mean the government's going to regulate and stuff? Look, Facebook and the government are in bed already anyway, and not in a good way.
So Julian Assange laid this out. In 2010, I saw a speech that he gave. He said, when the censorship happens in modern times now, it will be through the corporate state. So the Congress, in consultation with the Atlantic Council, do you know what the Atlantic Council is? The Atlantic Council is the people who got us in every illegal war since 1970. Well, even before that, because Henry Kissinger's on the Atlantic Council, and he was instrumental in the Vietnam War, which was a big lie. And then the first Gulf War, which is also a big lie. The last Gulf War in Iraq, also a big lie. Libya, also a big lie. Syria, also a big lie. So these MFers, in consultation with Congress, are doing the censoring. So it is the government through the corporate state, just like Ron just said, just like Julian Assange predicted. And why are they doing it? Why would Facebook roll over to Congress? Because they don't want them to break them up. Because they're a monopoly. They don't want them to break. They don't want regulation. They're like, what? Okay, we'll do it. Don't worry. Whatever you want, we'll do it. These people are well, we're going to get to it. So there he goes. The Atlantic Council, whose board includes an array of ex-CIA and Homeland Security officials, in the name of cracking down on alleged Russian disinformation efforts. So also, like we told you, the knuckleheads on the left, whose instinct is and reflex is right wing, even if they're on the left. Their instinct is right wing, and they're pushing Russiagate with zero evidence. Even though William Binney, the top NSA codebreaker, has told you when the CIA says we have high confidence, that means they have no evidence. That means they're lying. So the people pushing Russiagate, and we've said on this show, and we've warned them that when you push Russiagate, it will come back to be used on you. As soon as you go against anything the establishment wants, whether it be single-payer health care or whether it be the next war, or the current wars, they will then smear you as a Russian. So all this is happening because they're fighting Russian disinformation. And what's happening? Well, as a part of a bizarre alliance of internet news distributors and quasi-government censors, the social network zapped 32 Facebook accounts.
Oh, my.
And pages, including an ad for a real No Unite the Right To. That was an anti-racist counter-rally in D.C. They took something that's anti-racist. They took down. To left. Last week, we saw another flurry of censorship news. Facebook apparently suspended VenezuelaAnalysis.com, a site critical of U.S. policy towards Venezuela. You know, because the United States is trying to overthrow another sovereign government as we scream about Russia putting Facebook memes up that nobody saw. We're actually trying to overthrow a government. Twitter suspended a pair of libertarians, including Daniel McAdams of the Ron Paul Institute and Scott Hortonshow of antiwar.com for using the word bitch directed towards a man in a silly political argument. They, too, were later reinstated. More significantly, Google's former head of free expression issues in Asia, Lokman Su, blasted the tech giant's plan to develop a search engine that would help the Chinese government censor content. First reported by The Intercept, the plan was called a stupid move by Tsai, I guess that's how it's pronounced, who added, I can't see a way to operate Google search in China without violating widely held international human rights standards. So do you understand what Google's doing? So China won't let Google in China because China doesn't want people to have access to information because they're an oppressive, fascist, communist government. So Google wasn't allowed to be in China. And then they were like, well, how about if we invent a Google that pre-censors out all the stuff you guys don't want your people to read? Then can we get a Google in there? They're literally, did see what Julian Assange said? They're literally going to governments facilitating censorship. Oh, no problem. We'll give you a search engine. Google will give you a search engine, and we'll figure out how to make an algorithm that takes out all the information that undermines your fascism. Google is going to do that. Remember they used to have a motto called "Do No Evil"? Wasn't that it? Do no evil.
Mm-hmm.
There they were, trying to get in bed with the Chinese government to help them carry out censorship in their own fascist way. These are the people you want to give freedom to decide who gets to speak on monopolistic platforms like YouTube, Google, and Facebook. These are the people you want deciding? Yes, it is. A lot of people on the left totally okay with it because Alex Jones is a jerk. And of course, they don't know anything about what I'm talking about now because they're lazy. And they don't really care about the issue, and they don't understand what it means to have a principle. So they don't have principles. What they have is hatred for Alex Jones, and then they'll have principles afterwards. So that's what Google's doing. Is that a little bit mind-blowing that they're doing that? They're going to aid the Chinese government in carrying out fascism and censorship? They're going to give them a search engine that censors out stuff that's contrary to fascism.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, but it made sense like this was the next step. And a lot of this stuff happened simultaneously. I mean, before the Alex Jones thing happened, there were already, these anti-war sites and so forth being blocked and throttled by Facebook or being deleted from Facebook. So, I mean, for a long time now, this has been seen as an alarm. And I think people... especially people on the left that are trying to just make it about
Alex Jones.
They do the mental gymnastics necessary by trying to downplay Facebook's influence, by trying to be like, well, Facebook's just, I mean, does every newspaper have to publish every blah, 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 blah? No, that's not what Facebook is.
Yes.
Facebook is
not a
a
publisher.
utility, and it's not a publisher.
They're not a publisher. Facebook is, by the way, there's a law that was written in 1996 that says they can't be sued. Mm-hmm. For whatever goes on their platforms. You can't be sued for it. That's in the law.
Yeah, and as we've said, that's an example of them wanting to have their cake and eat it too.
Yes.
Because they're saying, oh yeah, we're just an open source thing. We're just, anyone can have a profile,
right.
Whatever. Well, unless we don't like
unless
it,
we don't
then
like
we
you.
have to enforce
Unless
stuff.
Henry Kissinger says he doesn't like you. Or Congress says they don't like you. Then we'll take it down because Congress told us or Henry Kissinger told us. That's crazy. That's what a lot of the people on the left are literally advocating. This came, them helping the Chinese carry out their fascistic censorship, that came on the heels of news that Israeli Knesset passed a second reading of a Facebook bill authorizing courts to delete content on security grounds.
That doesn't sound vague at all.
That doesn't
security
sound vague.
Grounds. That's totally...
it's security. Security, the court said. Few Americans heard these stories. Why? Well, because the big censorship news last week surrounded widely hated Alex Jones. After surviving halting actions by Facebook and YouTube the week before, the screeching InfoWars lunatic was hit decisively removed from Apple, Facebook, Google, and Spotify. Well, and the irony of ironies is that Alex Jones, conspiracy theorist, literally gets taken down by an actual conspiracy of the huge corporations he claims to be fighting against. That's hilarious. It's ironic. Is that not ironic?
Very much so.
It's ironic.
So it gives. So now the people who follow Alex Jones believe what he says even more because of this. And of course, his app popularity went through the roof because of this. And anyway, it's amazing. And yet, this is Matt Taibbi speaking, and yet I didn't celebrate when Jones was banned. Collectively, all these stories represent a revolutionary moment in media. So there's a revolutionary moment in media happening right now, and the people who are applauding the censorship of Alex Jones are missing this. Just like they're missing what happened with Russiagate. Russiagate was an invention by the establishment in the Democratic Party to take the focus off the electoral fraud that happened in the primary, and that's why they lost to Donald Trump. That's why we have Donald Trump. So all these stories represent a revolutionary moment in media. Jones is an incidental player in a much larger narrative. So people focusing on Jones are missing the point? Of course they are. Matt Taibbi says he's an incidental player in a much larger narrative. Both the Jones situation and the Facebook Atlantic Council deletions seem an effort to fulfill a request made last year by the Senate Judiciary Committee. So this is a corporation bending to the will of the government. Again, this is government censorship. They're just telling the corporation to do it. And the corporation does it, and then idiots who don't think deeply go on Twitter and every place else and say, "No, it's a private company; they can do whatever they want." And I've lightly read about this. Maybe I read a paragraph about this. I'm kind of informed, but I'm going to come and tell you you're wrong. The guy who's super informed on this. Last October, Facebook, Google, and Twitter were asked by Hawaii Senator Mazie Hizono to draw up a mission statement to prevent the foment of discord. What? When Google...
That is almost a quote of an Orwell novel.
Yes.
Like, that is like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again, this doesn't scare anybody on the left for some reason who are pushing this fucking censorship as a good thing. And doing mental gymnastics to pretend that it's just Alex and it's okay because of this and that and his terms of service and da ba 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 ba. But that's all bullshit arguments. We've knocked them down already.
And how do you really measure the degree of fomenting?
Oh, yeah.
Like how do you...
I'm pushing Discord. I'm not fomenting it.
I'm just tapping the Discord. It's okay.
I'm going to tap into the Discord that's already been fomented. When Google announced it was tightening its algorithm to push more authoritative content, that's what Google's doing. Google's deciding what you see and what you don't see. Do you get how they control information now? Do you get how they control information? Last April, it defined fake news as blatantly misleading. Get this, low quality. Fake news is low quality. It's low quality news. How about weapons of mass destruction? Was that low quality? Would you take that Washington Post editorial down from Facebook because it's low quality? How about it offensive or downright false? Well, when all the news media said that Saddam had WMDs, which is why we went to war, that was false, and that was misleading, and it was low quality, and it was offensive to me. That didn't get taken down. In fact, I could put that up today. I can put the editorial from the Washington Post claiming that Saddam has weapons of mass destruction and saying we should go to war. I could put that up on Facebook today, even though it's all those things. It's misleading, it's low quality, it's offensive, and it's downright false information, and they would never take that down.
Well, no, the low quality thing is actually especially disturbing.
So anybody can get censored now.
Well, no, not just that, but with the low quality part, I think it's because there's a little bit of power that we have as people now because we have these in our pockets. We have these in our pockets. Mitt Romney lost because there was a guy behind the catering table that had one of these in his pockets.
Right.
And he said, this 47% comment, some people are going to want to hear this. That's what helped that guy lose that election.
Yep.
So there's power in these in our pockets now, especially when a police officer is doing something they're not supposed to or whatever else it may be. So that low quality thing is especially disturbing.
Yes, that's especially to discourage citizen journalism.
Mm-hmm.
And let's remember that the traditionally the job of newsmaker or news reporter was given to the poor in the country. Rich people didn't become news people like they do today. Anderson Cooper's a member of the Vanderbilt family. Those people, because you know why? Because he goes make some millions of dollars reading a teleprompter. Used to be real newsmen were disliked, and they came from the lower class. It isn't clear, but within short order, a whole range of alternative sites from Alternet to Truthdig to the World Socialist website started complaining about significant drops in traffic, apparently thanks to changed search processes. So the fact that they do these algorithms in secret, that's already a scandal. To me, that's already a scandal. So they can push whichever news story they want in their algorithm, and we don't know they're pushing it. They can push whatever video or news channel, anything. And it's done in private, in secret. And we don't know what it is. The biggest people who control the information aren't transparent about how they're disseminating the information. That's a big problem, and no one talks about it. They just accept it. Well, they got a new algorithm that's screwing us. And who are they screwing? Lefties. Alternate, Truthdig, World Socialist Website, the Jimmy Dore Show, Secular Report, the Humanist Report. That's who they're screwing. That's who they're deranking. That's who they're adpocalypsing.
Secular talk.
Secular talk. What did I say?
You said secular report, but
Oh, I said secular
Sorry, Kyle.
report? It's secular talk, sorry. Within a year, get this. Within a year, Google bragged that it had deleted 8 million videos from YouTube. A full 6.7 million videos were caught by machines, but 1.1 million were caught by YouTube's own trusted flaggers. Trusted flaggers. We're pre-writing the lexicon of the next dystopian novels, says Matt Taibbi, and 400,000 videos were flagged by normal users.
the next dystopian novel's not going to sell well because it's not going to be weirder than what's going on in
That's
the real
right.
world.
That's right.
Same reason House of Cards eventually went under. It's like, this isn't weirder than what's going on.
Right. What's going on right
in the
now is weirder than your
US. Might
That's
as
a
well
great
just make a
point.
documentary.
Is that why House of Cards went under? I thought it was because got caught being a toucher.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
But
I mean,
reality is
it was,
also weirder than
Right.
the
It was
show.
a little bit of everything. It wasn't just one thing,
Right.
but that was part of it too.
For more than half a century, we had an effective if you listen to anything else in this report, this is the part that Matt Taibbi nails. So people go, well, what are you going to do? You're just going to let Alex Jones target people? He's targeting people. Can you let him target? First of all, if Alex Jones is doing something that's illegal, like if the people go, well, he's doxing people. Well, if he's doxing people and that's illegal, they should fucking prosecute him. So this is what Matt Taibbi talks about right here. He says, for more than half a century, we had an effective, if slow, litigation-based remedy for speech violations. The standards laid out in cases like New York Times versus Sullivan were designed to protect legitimate reporting while directly remunerating people harmed by bad speech. I'll read it again. The standard laid out in cases like New York Times versus Sullivan were designed to protect legitimate reporting while directly remunerating people harmed by bad speech. So sooner or later, people like Alex Jones would always crash under crippling settlements. Meanwhile, young reporters learned to steer clear of libel and defamation. Knowing exactly what we could and could not get away with empowered journalists to do their jobs, confident that the law had their backs. But now, Matt Taibbi goes on, if the line of defense had not been a judge and a jury, meaning all this time, if the line of defense for journalists had not been a judge and a jury, the way it traditionally has been, but instead a giant transnational corporation working with the government, the state, well, then journalists taking on banks or tech companies or the wrong politicians would have been playing intellectual Russian roulette, meaning that if we can't rely on a judge-jury system, an impartial judge and an adversarial judicial process to protect journalists, we can't rely on that. But now we're going to be subjected to giant transnational corporations working with the state. Well, journalists are going to be less reluctant to take on banks, tech companies, or the wrong politicians because they'd be playing Russian roulette. You don't know if someone's going to deplatform you or take your freedom away because it happens at the behest of the state. Without a transparent process. There's no process. Matt Taibbi says, in my own career, I'd have thought twice before taking on a company like Goldman Sachs. Any reporter would. Now the line is gone. Depending on the platform, one can be banned for glorifying violence or sowing division. Does this not sound like fucking Orwell, man?
Yeah, big time.
Holy shit.
Glorifying violence. So I guess every action movie made ever
Ever.
would be banned then.
Every action
Glorifying
movie
violence?
ever. How about when the Defense Department tweets out videos of their new weapons?
Yeah.
How about Brian Williams?
Yeah, no kidding.
How about
He should
Brian
be
Williams? We're guided by the glory of, oh my God,
banned.
I'm nutting in my
should be
pants.
banned. Yeah.
So, depending on the platform, you can be banned for glorifying violence, sowing division,
Rachel Maddow.
right?
I mean, how is she not sowing division every day?
Every day. Or hateful conduct. Why can't I have hateful? I hate some stuff. Why is it illegal to hate stuff? I hate police brutality. I hate the police culture in America. I hate it. I hate religion. I hate a lot of stuff. Why am I not allowed to hate stuff? That's fucked up. Is that not fucked up?
I hate war.
You saying that it's fucked up is hateful conduct, Jimmy.
That's sowing discord.
It's yeah.
I'm fomenting.
You're sowing division.
I'm sowing division. I'm over here fomenting stuff. Or even low quality. Again, there it is.
Again, people with phones.
Is that
people
mean
with phones?
if I don't have HDMI or something like that, I'm not.
So if it's not 1080, I don't want to. You got was that 720 pi? Get out of here with your 720.
That's an M4A. Delete.
And we only do vinyl. The MP3 loses too much quality.
Well, that is true. That is true.
That's why we don't. If it's an MP3 recording, we don't listen to it. That's low quality. So if you're going to record Denny Stoyer telling you, what is his name? Denny Hoyer.
Yeah.
Why am I blanking on his
forget
real name?
The other.
Steny Hoyer.
Yeah.
Thank you, Denny Hoyer. Steny
Look
Hoyer.
at the graduate
I know,
over there.
Mr.
Been
Big
paying
Shot.
attention.
So let's go through this one more time. Depending on the platform, you can be banned for glorifying violence, sowing division, hateful conduct, or even low quality. With those terms defined, and who defines those terms? Well, nameless, unaccountable executives working with God knows whom. Now, I was on a show yesterday, The Aggressive Progressives, and there was another person on that show who was literally advocating for this. A good person. One of my best friends in the whole world. So that's why this is scary to me. Because people of good conscience are getting it wrong. And that's why this is scary. Matt Taibbi lays it out. And another thing I've seen happen, and this happened in with all the debates, with the Jim Risen debate with Glenn Greenwald, with Kyle Kalinski's debate with Cenk Uygur about Russiagate. What happens is someone will say, and this happened with me, someone will go, I agree with that. And then completely go on to state an opinion that contradicts agreeing with this. They go, oh, I agree with that. But this and this and this. No, then you don't agree with this. If you think this is a bad idea, that nameless, unaccountable executives working with God knows whom, usually the Atlantic Council and the Congress and government, are deplatforming people over these reasons. If you're okay with that, there's something wrong. You're embracing corporate fascism. That's opaque. That's the opposite of what all of our ideals as of people who live in the Western world, not just progressives or liberals or Democrats or green. This is everybody. Conservatives, independents, lefty. We're all supposed to agree that an opaque process to take anyone's rights away is wrong. We're all about transparency because democracy doesn't run on trust. It runs on mistrust, which is why you have transparent, which is why courts are open. You have an open court. You're allowed to confront your accuser. Go ahead, Ron.
Well, what I love to ask people, because I've been having plenty of arguments about this too, I'm just like, look, would you defend Facebook's corporate personhood over the greater good? Because that's what you're doing.
Yes.
If it wasn't Alex Jones that got caught in the crosshair, say it was somebody you were either neutral towards or liked, would you still be defending Facebook's corporate personhood?
Well, here we are.
Over the,
Here they are. They're throttling Truth Out, Alternet. They deplatform Telesur.
Right.
And You go, well, come on, because people are like, Jimmy, Alex Jones. Dude, I've
Well,
been...
that's what I'm saying. That's what I say to those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the establishment has come after me specifically in this way. They've tried to discredit us. Why? Because we tell the truth about war. And we tell the truth about CNN. And we tell the truth about the establishment news. And so they try to discredit us. I told people as soon as we make a difference, they're going to come at us. And fuck if they didn't.
Jimmy, I want to read the old Google Code of Conduct that started with "Don't be evil."
Don't be evil. And then
Usually you're supposed to have an affirmative type of phrase, but "Don't be evil" is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But they're like hip and stuff. It's like, don't be evil, bro.
Right? So "Don't be evil" is their code of conduct. And it said Googlers generally apply those words to how we serve our users. But "Don't be evil" is much more than that. Yes, it's about providing our users unbiased access to information. They don't do that.
They don't do that.
They don't do that.
It's very biased access. They have algorithms.
Focusing on their needs and giving them the best products and services that we can. But it's also about doing the right thing more generally, following the law, acting honorably, and treating coworkers with courtesy and respect. So that's all gone.
That's all gone.
That's all. So, although they don't have "Don't be evil," I guess it just must be, it's okay now.
Maybe it'll evolve to just be cool, man.
Don't care. Relax.
Dude, don't get upset. That's the new thing. Dude, calm down. Just calm down over the censorship. That's the new slogan. Americans are not freaking out about this because most of us... this Matt Taibbi does this so perfectly. Americans are not freaking out about this because most of us have lost the ability to distinguish between general principles and political outcomes. So long as the right people are being zapped, no one cares. This is what I was confronted with yesterday. This is what I've been confronted with everywhere. That people are upset. They go, oh, it's wrong that Telesur is taken down. I go, what about Alex Jones? Oh, no, that's okay. Do you understand? You have to be consistent. But people aren't because they don't, God damn it, this is so fucking predictable. And we predicted it. But we should care, Matt Taibbi says. Why should we care? Because censorship is one of the modern man's great temptations. Giving into it hasn't provided many happy stories. So I have a whole... how long has this segment been? I got to stop.
Let me just say one more thing, that the Google Code of Conduct that they added to the ending to keep the same phrase in the current one, it says, and remember, don't be evil. And if you see something that you think isn't right, speak up.
Okay. Again, stop that stuff. See something, say something. That's the shit that happened when I was a kid. That's how they would tell us Russia was and communist countries were. Everybody's spying on each other and everyone's tattling on each other to the government. And now that's what's come here. Oh my God. Okay, well, thanks for watching the show. And thanks for being clear-headed. Thanks for not letting Trump steal your critical thinking skills, as Ron Placone says. Thanks for keeping your critical thinking skills, for standing by your ideals, not progressive ideals, Western world's ideals. Thanks for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed. Even if you think you are, you're probably not. It only takes a second to check, and then you have to ring that bell so they send you a notification when we drop a new video. Otherwise, they won't tell you when we drop new videos. And if you like our show, please help support it. Become a patron. We give you hours of bonus material every week, and we give a live stream. We do a live stream every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time when you could ask us questions and we answer them back. Thanks for your support.